more love, more life, more determination to get some things right.
I get canceled before I'm put on type thing.
Oh, getting canceled.
Yeah.
Okay. And who's scared of
Yeah.
being canceled? Just like curiosity. Tony Robbins has a great quote when he says the most successful people and the most confident people are the people that are so focused on their mission that they literally don't give a fuck about anything else. Okay. And he would say it like that too. Right. So when it comes from like the fear of judgment, you don't want to feel forced. Think about, and this is where we start to think about ourselves, not in like this like narcissistic way, but as in this like altruistic way. Like we're all together. We're all here for a purpose. Think about like Nelson Mandela. Think about Martin Luther King. I don't know, think about Frida Kahlo. Think about these people that you might look up to, right? Whoever that is for you. And whoever's cool. Marianne Williamson is like my queen right now. Like Doja Cat. I don't know. I was listening to her album the other day. It was pretty good, right? Like imagine if they weren't creating. Imagine if your favorite creator, leader, poet, musician, philosopher, whatever, didn't create because they were scared of what other people were going to think of them. And also think about some of the people that at the time were canceled. Like we kind of forget about that. Right. I always think the first thing I think of is like civil rights leaders, just because I think it's the most obvious. Like at the time, like they were literally like, they weren't seen, you know what I mean? Like they weren't praised. Like there was no Martin Luther King Day, like when he was protesting, like people hated him. People literally tried to kill him, you know? But the truth is like, now we look back on these people and we're like, thank God for their work. What would our lives look like if they didn't speak up? Right. So for you, you get to look at it that way. It's like, okay, like, and I hate cancel culture. I hate cancel culture. I can talk about that all day long about how toxic it is. But the truth is we could just choose to subscribe to something else. So one of the biggest things is checking in with yourself. I just want to speak to that with inspiration because it's going to come through. And I think everyone's resonating with that. It's like how are you canceling people? So making sure, like it can be so quick. Like there was a girl, I remember there's this astrologer, and it might have been Naija that I texted, and I was like, did you see like that she stole all these creators' content? Like, what are you thinking? Da, 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 da. And she was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I forgot. She said something really beautiful and eloquent. And I was like about ready to, I unfollowed her. I didn't make any posts or anything like that, but I definitely unfollowed her. And then she came up my For You page a couple months ago. And I was like, why did I unfollow her? Like, I didn't even know the whole story. Just because somebody made a video saying that she stole from other creators, which side note, we're all tapped into the same collective energy. It's more than likely that you're going to be creating something that somebody else is creating something similar at the same time. Okay. That's not a competition. It's just a thing that happens to me all the time, both ways. People have said that about me, and I've seen that in other people. And then we realize that nobody ever saw anybody's content. So, you know what I mean? Like, are we canceling people? And then also too, like, what's the greater mission? So I wanted to start with talking about inspiration, right? Like, where are you ladies deriving inspiration from? And it's a great question to ask yourself is like, what is it that I stand for more than anything in the world? Don't feel pressure to pick one specific thing. Okay, give you a couple things. What is it? What change, what transformation do I want to see occur in this lifetime, in my lifetime, that I would be disappointed if I left this earth and I didn't see that change happen with at least one person, right? So for me, like some things that come to mind are like empowerment, like especially women that are like in underprivileged communities. I love working with women in like their early 20s that have gone through like abuse or eating disorders or trauma in their teenage years, like their early 20s, because I had that too. And like, it's a big thing is like, that's such a transition, like, right. When you're in that experience, like there's so many transitions that happen. And I love supporting women through healing from their past early on. So that way, like, of course I work with clients that are older too, but like, wherever you are, like, how do you actually heal from your trauma and pain? Because I want to show people how to be unstuck, because I got unstuck and that was a big part of my journey. So I'll meet you all in like the depths of like your soul and we get really deep and dark and we cry and everything so that we can move forward, right? So that's a change that I stand for more than anything else in the world, right? What are some changes that you stand for more than anything else in the world? Stand for more than anything in the world. What would you be deeply upset if you left this planet and you didn't have any impact in alleviating or actualizing them? So how do we come up with inspiration? One thing is to ask yourself that question. Another thing is to do the meditation we're going to do in a second, which is literally just asking God, universe, Kali, I don't know, whoever you're connecting with at the time, your ancestor, how can you move through me? I was on my way to, I just want to share a story with you. I was, I still kind of do, but I was doing these regular healing circles for this like investor group up in La Jolla, and they're trying to paint their picture. They're very like tech savvy. They're very masculine. Okay. These guys are really masculine and they're very rigid, but they're really sweet, but they're very rigid. And I remember I was driving to this thing and I'm like, how they're gonna walk, like I'm gonna walk in this room with all these men in like suits, and I'm literally wearing like a, you know, a pashmina, and I'm like, my hair is like a bun, and like I just meditate to the eighth dimension. Like, what am I gonna do? Like literally, how am I supposed to help them? So I was in the car and I just said, like, I literally prayed, and for me, my spiritual choice, being of choice is God. And I just prayed and I was like, dear God, like, how can you move through me? And I was laughing and I was like, thank you. I pray a lot, but I was like, thank you for this opportunity. Like, I don't know what we're doing here, but can you show me, like, how can I give this medicine? And I had no plan for the whole workshop. It was also a team building workshop, which I'd never done before. And I told him I'd never done before, but he just really wanted me to do it. And I swear, like when I left, like all of those men were crying and hugging each other. And they were like, thank you so much. Like, we love you. And they were like also with each other, like this brotherhood kind of like came through, because I tapped in and I said, what do they need? And I just started channeling. I got there, I did an eye gazing workshop. I had them all tell each other how much they loved each other. I had them all hug each other. It was so simple, but your brain complicates things, right? And so that's what we have to take a step back and let spirit, let the universe, let God. And I almost recommend you ladies like rewatching this too, because I feel like this is something to like get into the routine. I might even take this out and make it a video so you can just keep replaying it over and over again. It's like, how do you just let your ego get out of the way and let spirit, God, the universe, source, any god or goddess that you're working with take over? So that's how you get inspiration. I wanted to talk really quickly about credentials too, because I feel like that comes up a lot in our tribe. It's like, well, do I have a degree? Do I have a certification? Am I old enough? Do I have enough money? You know, am I whatever enough? So I want everybody to just identify really quickly, like one limiting belief around credentials that comes up for you. So it doesn't have to be like necessarily having a degree, but what are some like quick limiting beliefs that come up for you guys around service?
You won't get chosen if you don't have the right like paperwork or credentials, that you'll get overlooked, I guess. Like, you know, like just the idea of like what society feels is just that personal experience and all that experience doesn't really matter, even though to me it matters, you know.
Yeah, totally. So you won't get hired. The fear is that I won't get hired if I don't have like a degree in whatever, even though I'm experienced in it. Does anybody else have anything like that come up?
Just the fear that people won't listen if I don't have like the proof that what I'm telling them is like proven, I guess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Not like a proven method.
Yeah, and I doubt that in myself too. Sometimes I'm like, I feel like I have like tidbits of knowledge and like not the full extent. So it starts with me for sure. Like I doubt myself. So also that probably doesn't help other people believe it, but yeah.
Totally. It's okay. That happens. Anyone else? So, Emily?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm always afraid that I seem like too young, that I don't have like enough life experience, and that people will doubt my abilities due to that.
Yeah, I resonate with that big time. That's still a thing that I think of all the time, which is so funny because it's so not true. There are people I teach at the Institute that are in their 70s.
Love that.
Naija?
For me, I don't think it's ever been a credibility thing. Like it's not about the tools I have or like the certifications I have, but my fear is not being able to translate my life experience well enough for people to understand like how I could empower them by like the way I've done it without having to often overshare.
Ah, okay. That's juicy. I mean, they're all juicy, but that's like, I want to kind of speak on to that because I think that a lot of that is strategy and vulnerability. So how do you, right? For those of you who are coaches, like how do you share your qualifications without sharing your qualifications is like a big thing, right? And a lot of it is sharing experience, especially when you're first starting, because you can't really share your client's experience yet. You are the client, right? So you're the beta program. I talked to Emily about this in my Embody Biz. Like you're the OG. You did the transformation first. Now you're guiding other people through the transformation. You're like, oh, how do I talk to them about it? I say, when you're scared of oversharing, share your scars, not your wounds, and trust that you know the difference. If there's something that you're still really working through, you can totally share. I mean, you can share it with people, but keep in mind that some things take time to integrate. And if you wait before you integrate it, then it's much richer. That being said, you don't get to use that as a crutch to not share. Because I know you all, and you've also, there might be like 1/8 of your healing journey that you're still working through, and there's 7/8 that you just did, right? So when we're climbing up this mountain, we always forget to turn around and look at how far we've come, right? So you might not be able to speak to where you haven't been yet. I can't tell you what the summit looks like because I haven't gotten there, but I can tell you how to get there. I can tell you how I got to where I am right now. So keep it authentic, but don't hide. And that's a practice we could talk on. And you can tell because you'll feel it emotionally. So like when you, and it's, I mean, it's okay if you share a wound. Like I think if it feels authentic, I'm not saying that's bad, but for you and kind of like your nervous system and like your mental, emotional, spiritual health, I think it's good to try to like, yeah, really sit with yourself. And you can tell because is the trigger still alive in your body when you talk about it? Does that make sense? Versus like, oh, this makes me emotional with, and the type of emotion, right? So am I feeling fearful to share this, or am I feeling grateful that I went through that? Am I feeling proud? Nervous is normal. We can talk more about that though, for sure. That's like, yeah. And I might have some prompts for you that could help. If you just message me and remind me. Yeah. So the thing about what we're talking about right now is like, we all get, what happens is like, sometimes you create, I saw this reel today and I sent it to someone. I sent it to the Wild Women group chat. And I just want to read to you the quote that came through, and I can send it to you guys as well. It was from this therapist. His name is Flynn. He's in San Diego. You must believe you're worthy thing is a trap. It's you trying to create safety before starting. The task isn't to convince yourself you're worthy. It's to take action despite doubt about your worth. Safety doesn't exist before you do something, it's created while you're doing it. So how do you actually gain experience doing what you're doing? You have to do it. And if you can't find a way, something like I learned, I don't want to get all preachy, it's something I learned, but like something I learned was to create a way. So like nobody was hiring me to teach yoga when I first got certified. I applied to every single studio I could come up with. And I was like, I guess I'm gonna just host my own yoga classes. And then I found a studio that I could rent out, and I rented it out for $30 an hour, and I made flyers and I made an Instagram, and I started teaching at a yoga studio that I was renting out that didn't even hire me on the schedule. And then after I did that for a year, and I started a nonprofit-ish, it wasn't an official nonprofit, but it was like a nonprofit type of class called Free Yoga San Diego. And that was every Tuesday night on the beach. And I would just go to the beach with a boombox and mat, and I would teach yoga, and I would donate 100% of the proceeds. And I did that for a year. After a year of doing that, the yoga studio down the street from my house that I did my yoga teacher training at had an audition. I got the job there. I got a job at another studio down the street, and I started teaching, right? So sometimes it's like you have to make your own way. So that's creating a beta program or you know, like researching something in depth and like becoming an expert. Those are your projectors, you know, that's like a thing, right? In that moment, what I was doing is I was becoming an expert, and then I waited for the invitation. I got invited. Those of you who aren't projectors, it doesn't matter. This is a thing. It's like, how do you just start creating? What is something you can do right now? You might not have clients in front of you right now, but what can you do each day? You know, I can sit down for 2 hours and I can make content. I can dream about my ideal client. I can just write about my ideal client. I can talk to my ideal client in my head. I don't know. I could go to places where my ideal client might hang out and just hang out there and get a feel for what they're like, right? If you're thinking about jobs, like the new job, can you shadow somebody? So let's say the L is like, oh, I want to be a lawyer. I don't know if I want to go to law school yet. Can we find a lawyer? Can you shadow them for the day? Can you ask a lawyer to coffee and ask them about their experience? So all these things are, what are they? Inspired action, which I know y'all are all really familiar with the law of attraction here. But what happens when you have inspired action and energy? Manifestation happens. So any questions about that? This is fun. I just get to talk all day today, I guess. Major Gemini vibes. So we're going to do a meditation for you to actually connect to this. And we're going to slow it way the fuck down so you can feel it in your body, you can feel it in your heart. I'll give you some journal prompts. We can talk and close out. Does that feel good? Okay. So I'm going to invite you all to gently close your eyes. Draw your shoulder blades together, down your back. Just going to take a couple deep breaths together here. Breathing in through the nose, holding it at the top. Exhaling out through the mouth. Let it go. I'm just flowing through that here a couple more times. Big inhale through the nose, hold it at the top. Exhaling out through the mouth. Letting it go. Continue moving through these inhales and these exhales. And just begin to visualize a warm wave, ultraviolet light starting at the top of your head. And this warm wave of ultraviolet light releases tension everywhere it travels. As it moves down past your forehead, your eyes, your nose, your lips, pausing at your neck, releasing tension there as it travels down past your upper back body and your heart space, your lower back body and your belly. Pausing at your hips, releasing tension there as it travels down past your legs and your feet into the surface below you. Just letting go of any stress or tension from the day thus far, the week thus far, the year thus far. Just arriving to this present moment together. Dropping this meditation, we're going to do a little bit of vocal activation, pretty informal. Just going to invite everybody to bring their fingertips to their chest, keeping your eyes closed, and just start to tap around your heart space a little bit. Just kind of warming up that area to be open. You can even tap on your throat. And we're just going to take a couple deep breaths here. And when we exhale, I'm going to invite you to just make any sounds that naturally want to move through your body. This can be an ooh, an ah, a yell, a cry, an om, your favorite song. We're all going to take a big inhale together and then we'll exhale. Okay. Inhale through the nose. Ooh. Two more times. Ah. it go, shaking it out, keeping your eyes closed. Bring your hands to your heart space. And I invite you to repeat the following out loud to me. Dear universe, God, source, how do you desire to move through me? Today, tomorrow, the next day, the day after that. In this moment, in this minute, tonight. What medicine do you have? What unique medicine can move through me into the world, into the arms and the hands and the hearts of those who need it? You can even imagine a specific person that you're feeling called to connect with. For those of you who have movements, maybe your ideal participants, receivers. Dear universe, spirit, God, Tara, Kali, whomever, how can you move through me? What unique medicine can I allow you to pour through me so that I may serve, I may show up in service to the world around me? Just repeating that in your own words. Begin to notice, begin to listen to the words that are shared, the messages that come through. How can you use me as a conduit for change? How can you use me as a conduit for that transformation for others? What am I not seeing that's in my way? Please make it obvious to me the people, places, opportunities, and experiences that are in the way of me letting this medicine flow through. What energy leakages am I allowing in my life, in my heart, that are blocking my service to others? And just listening to these answers, I invite you to actually bring the awareness back to yourself. I'm going to ask you the question, taking a moment to listen to your heart. What is it that you stand for? More than anything in the world, that you would be upset if you left this lifetime without creating impact in that way, in some way, without moving or shaking one part of that puzzle, Tetris game, Jenga piece. What towers do I want to be a part of seeing crumble, and what beautiful gardens do I want to be a part of the manifestation and co-creation of? And better yet, how can I be comfortable and okay with the possibility of being misunderstood, of being canceled, of someone thinking I'm too young or I'm not experienced enough, I don't have enough life experience enough, somebody thinking I overshare, whatever fear that is that you have? How can your purpose and your opportunity to serve be greater than that? Take a couple deep breaths here. Bringing this energy of service into your body. If your hands are on your heart, go ahead and bring them there. Letting this divine guidance, this wisdom, this purpose just move through your cells and your muscles and your tissues and your bones.
More love, more life, more determination to get some things right.